Hello and welcome to GA Flying. Today we are in Australia and we will be checking out the newest version of the Lancair Legacy. Actually, since our last video there have been 5 updates published, fixing pretty much every issue that I have commented like in the last video. And one additional topic that I would like to discuss now would be also the differences between this one and the Lancair Legacy that will be coming from A to A, because there were a lot of questions, a lot of discussions, so I think this is like also important for people to make the decision. Okay, and with this I think we can start. So the first thing that was fixed is the fueling. Here you can actually see the ground is even this time, so we can take a look at this great model here, at those like fueling hoses that we can see. Everything is visible, and we can also already proceed with the refueling. We can only fuel one tank if we want to eliminate the imbalance that we have. This imbalance actually came from my prior flying, and I have flown it a lot because it's really a lot of fun. As I said before, it's normally not my favorite type of plane, like a simple GA plane without any like commercial job other than maybe racing. But like for some reason I really like it. Okay, let me just make sure we will have the same amount in both, and we can obviously also start both. Right? And you can also fuel it in a normal way if you don't want to do it live. I really like this system because it's immersive and at the same time it's like very simple. So some planes have those very like elaborate preparation and fueling systems, and I'm always excited about them, but then don't really use them any flight. And because this one is so easy, I pretty much always enjoy it. Okay. So something that I would like to show you that I haven't before is first the dirt, that I'm really proud of because it's a lot of my flights. I'm not sure which exactly type this is, because there are actually I think 5 or 6 types of dirt that you can accumulate, and that accumulate at different rates depending on what you exactly do with the plane. Here I think we'll have some oil, yeah, because as I said in the prior video, and as was described by the developer, this plane is leaking oil like crazy. And we can also see it here pretty much. And the next thing that I wanted to show you is actually the detail of the gear, because this is something that I haven't really noticed the first time, but it might be actually one of the best gears in GA planes that I own. We don't have much light here, so let me move here. Pretty amazing. I mean, there are some artifacts from frame generation and like usual MSFS stuff, but you can see the detail level is really great. And maybe we can also look here. Everything is pretty much modeled, all of the inner workings of the gear. Let me also show you here. Also pretty impressive. And also like small subtle details, like the drainage holes here. A lot of screws, everything that you would expect. Actually, it took me like 4 or 5 flights to really notice that there is something special about the detail level of this one, because I was concentrating on flying the plane and learning it, and just after some time I did have the opportunity to look at all of the very small detail here. So let me also show you here. Pretty much screws, descriptions, everything is visible. So pretty nice. With this, I think we can get rid of the fuel track. So let me go back in. So this is another type of dirt. This is insects. Yeah, like you can see, I have gathered a lot because I was flying pretty low altitude for the views. And I think it might be time now to actually wash the plane, because I think we are at a moment where it starts being maybe annoying for some of you to have a windshield like this. So this is something that we'll do together, and this is something that I have not tried before, washing the plane. I was only accumulating dirt over all of my flights. So let me go outside. Let me close the cowling. Here you can see some more types of dirt. I'm not sure if I have much dust, because I wasn't really flying like in smaller airports with dirt runways and stuff. Okay, either way, let me get rid of this. And we also don't need the fueling anymore, so we just end the service, but we still have to remember to close the caps. Okay, pretty nice animation, and the second one also. This is a custom livery, and I will provide a link in the video description. Okay, let's get rid of this. And here, maintenance. As is visible, I have used it for some time. I actually had to already replenish some of the oil because it's burning it like crazy. I was in the yellow. And still I was able to use up some more. So it happens really, really fast. And if you use the acceleration, you will need to watch out here. Okay, so I want to wash it, because here we can see it's very small, so it might be not visible for you, but oil leak level is 44%, so pretty high. Okay, let's wash it. Everything is 0 now. Let's see. Yeah, pretty nice. And I'm not sure if it's visible on the video, but I can also see this like additional texture here. Those like metallic flakes, I guess they are called, inside. Okay, let me make sure that everything is fine. No covers, nothing. And with this, we will be able to start. So there is a small bug. I will show you in a second. But it's only a bug for me. I was talking to the developer, nothing else has reported it. So if I would click enter aircraft like this and would be teleported inside, I would not be able to manipulate some of the external elements after getting back out at the end of the flight. But if I just do Ctrl-C now, instead of clicking on enter aircraft, this will be fine. So maybe I'm the only person in the world that is having this problem. But still, I'm telling you, maybe you're the second one. Okay. Okay, let's lock the canopy. And I actually wanted to present you some more of the sounds, because this is actually something that was also very important for me, and this is also something very special about Flysimware planes, I think, that they have like a very tactile feeling of everything that you touch, turn, and move. Let me just increase the volume. And let's start with the battery. Okay, let it load up. Obviously, this is also interesting because this is not a constant sound, depending on like how fast I do it, I think. There is this like additional squeaking. I'm not entirely sure how it works. And the next one is, for example, the avionics, where you will also hear the oxygen system coming online. Yep, and it's always very hard to explain in planes that something feels real, but like the combination of the animation of the button, right, and the sound is just perfect. And this was the same in Flysim, in the Cessna 414 from Flysimware, that it was just like a joy to operate everything inside. Okay, and with this, I think we can proceed. Once again, there is no beacon, so we move it to strobe. And let me just grab this one. And also this. Let's wait for it to load. We have everything. As always, this one is distracting for me, so I'm just turning it off. For the taxi today, I will not seal the seal, right? We will just do it before takeoff, because I really like the sound that the engine makes during the taxi, and I want you to also hear it. So in general, just to spoil it a little bit, I think over the last days we had so many changes that it's very difficult for me to find anything that would not be really good about the plane now. But we will go over the changelog in a second. Maybe before I turn it on, maybe you can take a look at the cockpit. Because I told you I want to compare it to the one in the A2A. So sadly, A2A has not provided that much information, but they have recorded a video with their own Lancer. And this information was also pretty important, that it's supposed to feel smooth. And this is something that the prior versions of this one didn't do. It was like very twitchy, very like a jet fighter, not smooth at all. But now with the new version, this Lancer also feels very smooth. So I would assume it's much closer to the real controls that we can expect. That saying, let me just, maybe we can enlarge it a little bit. So I mean, most of the differences that you can expect are pretty obvious. Let me just go back because I have clicked. I shouldn't have clicked. Okay. Yeah, I promised I would try to control my usage of OK, so I'm aware of it. Most of the time it comes too late. Once again, obviously a totally different type of cockpit. Here we have the glass cockpit, and here we have an analog one. The other difference are the levers. Here we have like a standard 3-lever setup, plus the ram-air lever that we also have to operate in different stages of flight. And here it seems like it's a mono-lever configuration. And I'm not sure if this means that there's like some electronic control to the engine, or that maybe, for example, some of the switches are also controlling the propellers. And the last thing is that I cannot see any oxygen system here, so I'm not sure if it will be a thing. I have asked on the A2A Discord, but they also didn't know, which is kind of strange because there are almost no details about the plane. But at the same time, A2A promised to release it in second quarter of 2026, so that's kind of now. With no details about it, I'm afraid that it might be again like an early access release, like the Aerostar, which I think in the case of the Aerostar was not really a good idea, because I think like people worship A2A because it delivers those perfect immersive experiences. And what they delivered in the beginning with the Aerostar was like lacking in a lot of ways, kind of boring, generic. It changes with time a little bit, but it kind of robbed them, at least for the people that were taking part in the early access part. Like you could see that the king is naked, right? And that there is not really that much magic in it. So I do hope that the Lancer, when it comes, will be like a proper full release, and not once again like an early access that will be lacking a lot of the functionality. And when it comes to other differences, here you are getting the naturally aspirated engine, so the one that you have to lean, and also the turbocharged engine, so the one that you don't have to lean and also has like more performance on high altitudes. The other difference is that here you're getting this glass cockpit, plus in around a month there is supposed to be also an analog gauge cockpit delivered within the price that you are paying for this, so not extra. So in short, it is the same aircraft, but at the same time, like at least the interior and many of the features will be totally different. And this is also not a standard Lancer. This is pretty much the Starhawk version. There is no Starhawk logo and no Starhawk livery, but many of those additional features that you can see here is the Starhawk modification. Okay, so this also went a different way than the other Lancer. Okay, so I hope this was interesting for people who are still deciding if they want to wait or not, and we can proceed. So everything is to max, and we'll be just priming the engine, similar as in the Baron, for example. Okay, so we do have fuel pressure, 3 seconds. Okay, nice. And when it comes to the throttle now to start it, in the last video I didn't do it correctly, because in the checklist it's written move the power lever to 5th eighths, right? So I assumed, I don't know, maybe this is 5th eighths. At the same time I was wondering, maybe they mean inches, which would be the same as in other planes, but at the same time, like my European brain didn't understand why somebody would divide such a small measurement unit as an inch into 5/8, right, into eighths, it also didn't make sense for me. So in the end, the pilot has clarified it on Discord. It's really 5/8 of an inch, so pretty much half an inch like in every other plane. I mean, it's impossible to get it correct, so just do half an inch. Okay, let me start. Yeah, the sounds are just amazing. One sound that I think is missing, it would be nice if it would be a thing, would be the rolling sounds, because either they are pretty quiet or they are not a thing. Because I was like taxiing even over rough terrain and didn't hear the wheels really, but we will also take a look. Okay, so around 1000, we have around 1000 and leaning for taxi. No taxi light, so during the day you don't need it, and during the night you just have to use landing lights to see anything. When it comes to the Essential Bus, I have watched the real pilot, so Velin, the owner of the Starhawk, fly it on YouTube, and he's not using the Essential Bus if it's not needed. So he keeps it off, and this is also something that we will do. Camera bus for all of the GoPros, and we can do air conditioning. There's also a sound, but now as we have the engine on, it might be hard to hear. Yeah? And another okay. I need to set up something that will like shock me with electricity every time I say okay. Oops, one thing I forgot, I actually didn't check the weather before. So let me make clear we will check it now. Make sure that we will check it now. Just write it down. Okay. Once again, this great touch interface that I just love in the sim. I pretty much stopped using this MFD because for me this is enough. So this is much better at flight planning than this, and I never really liked the functionality of this piece, so I'm not even looking here. Some people have also reported some bugs with it, but I'm not sure if it's like a bug in the plane or if it's a bug in the G3X, because from what I know, working title is not very concentrated on like making it perfect, so it might be also that it's just like a bug in the avionics here. For me, this is more than enough. Okay, and we can start. Let me get some head tracking here. Because of the bubble canopy, I again started using it after a break, because normally I was only using head tracking for helicopters. So I still need to get used to it. We can open the oil cooling. It's not so hot, but still it's recommended in the checklist for ground operations, so let's do it. Actually, before we continue, I wanted to show you the airport. Let me just turn off head tracking so you can see all of the detail. This is an airport that was introduced in the last update, so World Update 21 with Australia. I can show you where we are. So this is oops, it's jumping around. This is Bathurst, this is new, and we are flying to Shellharbour, which was already introduced in the prior updates. Both of those are like custom-free airports that are included with MSFS if you download the world updates. And when it comes to this one, I just love all of the small detail, especially in the GA sections here. So if you haven't checked it out after the update, I can really recommend it. Very, very nice. The ground is really uneven here. I'm not sure if this is how it's supposed to be, because this is how it's in the reality, Or maybe this is also an airport that was created in 2020, and they often have this strange terrain in 2024. Here you can see it will be pretty adventurous as we will continue. Yeah, I'm not used to this clear windshield. It's for many flights now. I had it full of insects. Last time I was flying in Alaska with this one, and there was like a snowstorm which has washed away some of the dirt, but not everything. When it comes to the nose wheel steering, there is the option for realistic nose wheel steering with toe brakes and the simplified one. And as long as I'm flying on those small airports, which are often uneven, I'm using the simplified one, because my experience is that if the ground is uneven, the one with the toe brakes is really giving you a lot of trouble, maybe more than it would be doing in reality. So instead of having more immersion, you have less, because you need to pretty much suffer because of deficiencies in the sim, pretty much. I'm not sure about the wind. I think we might get, I mean, I have checked it, but I think that this might be a crosswind for us, but we will see. So they have improved the flight model by a lot. Huh? Is there like a hold short line, or did I miss it because I was talking too much? So let's just hold here. Okay, so 1700 RPM for the warm-up. And let's just exercise the propeller. You can see a drop. Okay, nice. And something that was broken before is the magneto check, which now also works without a problem, so small drop. And magneto fouling is modeled. And it can also have an influence on the overall performance and like the maintenance status of the engine. Rammer to full for takeoff. Now we can seal the canopy, so we don't hear, the sound will change. Yep, nice effect. We have the same in the Baron, I think. If you pressurize it, seal it, and then the sound changes. Okay, landing lights. Fuel pump too low. Everything seems to be in the green, other than the fuel flow that is supposed to be pretty low. Okay, and we can switch to the fuller tank. Let me do a last check here. Seems fine. We don't need a pitot heat for now. Oops. And we can proceed. And the takeoff behavior was also changed. Before you had to pretty much yank it for the ground. You needed a lot of power for it to take off. And because of this like hard movement that you had to do, it was pretty unstable in the first phases after the takeoff. But now this is something that they have also fixed. I'm not sure how far we will see it, because this runway is pretty uneven, and there is a race on the runway in a second, so I'm not sure if the feeling will be totally realistic. So for this, maybe I will just use the whole length of the runway. Okay, 2 clicks for the flaps to move it to 10. And I will reduce the volume a little bit, because otherwise it will be too loud for you. We will be doing a lot of hand flying this time, because I really want to check out the hand flying feeling. And I was flying it after the big patch that has changed the flying feeling, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's pretty long. Not sure if we need so much, but still. Yeah, with this popping in like this one, I do believe this was really designed for 2020. And now just like polished up for a fast release. At least it looks a little bit like it. That saying, I won't complain too much because I really like getting new airports. In many of those world updates lately, we're only getting photogrammetry cities, but not really any custom airports. So I'm glad we have one now. Okay, nice. Oh, some really nice light here. Always like it when this happens. And let me do a last check. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Oops. We can actually tune in a pretty high altitude because I want to show you the oxygen system. Last time we were only flying low, so you couldn't see it, so now you will. And it's also pretty interesting. But we also fly low. There will be some nice mountains, canyons along the way. I will show you in a second. .80-85 is the rotation. Yeah, it's not easy with this uneven runway, but you can see it's no longer doing the thing that it has done before, with just like dropping the wing and like starting to shaking after we actually were able to depart this uneven runway, okay? It was just behaving totally naturally. And flaps up. And it feels very, very smooth here. And I think it might be a little bit too stable to the sides. Let me just do a quick... Yeah, might be, because I have seen one of the Lancair pilots doing this wobble with the wings, and it was pretty fast for him. For us, actually, maybe with more speed, it's better. Either way, let's just climb. So there was a discussion under the video about flying too low as an altitude. I do realize that this engine is the most effective like higher up, but at the same time I don't think this is like a standard commuter plane that is only about well, saving fuel and maintenance fees. This is pretty much, at least as far as I understand, like a sports vehicle for fun and for taking cool photos. And actually when I was watching videos of it in the internet, pretty much all of the videos was flying low and doing like photos with GoPros and stuff. So I don't think the type of flying that I'm doing is so far away from the real one that you would do. Okay, here it's very important to lean for power, because it loses a lot of power if you don't lean when being higher up. Let me set it up for climb. And let's go nose down. Oops, nose up. To 120. So the recommended RPM is 2600 for climb. And this is also what we will be doing. Oops, not this one. They have also fixed all of the temperatures here, so those are also closer to what is expected. And we can see the climb behavior is pretty nice. I think we need even more leaning with altitude. And because it's climbing so high, so fast, it's easy to forget that you need to lean. Okay, let's change the pulse lights, and those can stay on. We can actually zoom out a little bit. I finally made the jump and purchased the paid version of the PMS750. Mostly because of my the flight in Alaska that I was talking about, because there was no visibility I really wished I had VNAV, which is only I think in the paid version, and also that I had proper holds, because there was like an airport close to the mountains that had a hold that is making it much easier to turn back on the localizer and not fly into the mountains. And with the free version this was also hard to do, so I finally paid the 20 euros, I think. I think we need more. The 20 euros, because it's 20 euros, now we can see we got additional power. It's 20 euros for a year or 50 euros like forever. Actually, for me, as I'm not flying that many planes with the 750, I was hesitating for a long time. Okay, let me break here, because now you will see this going live on its own. It's set to default. This means that it will start once we cross 10,000 feet. Hopefully. No, don't make me a liar. It was working normally. Maybe because we should be at standard now? Oh, now it works. As we have only one pilot and no co-pilot, it's providing the oxygen only to one person. Okay, let's lean it even more. Let me see if there is anything that I forgot. Yeah, so coming back, pitot heat, because it's 3 degrees. Okay, why not? Also this nice meaty click sound, something that I really like. Let's change the fuel tank. It's not specified if you have to use the fuel pump when changing tanks, but this is something that I'm doing in all planes. In many of them it's described in the manual, so here, just to be safe, let me just flick it, but I'm not sure in which direction. Okay, nice. And we will be doing some leaning. Let me just... I was expecting to get some nicer clouds, but soon we should have enough clouds. And at this stage I think I can show you the changelog. Maybe first let's settle in on the altitude that we are going for. And here you can see I have adjusted the mixture and it got even more additional power. So this is something that I really like, that like the mixture means something. After flying the Baron for a lot of time that is turbocharged, that you don't have to do pretty much anything, I really appreciate that there is like an additional step that I need to care about. Okay, so I would reduce the RPM to 2500. Actually, it's not specified in the manual how much you have to reduce the propellers, but I'm basing on this one picture that I have shown you before, that was published on Discord and is linked in my prior video. And here during the descent they do recommend 2500 RPM, so I am assuming that this means that the cruising RPM would be 2500 or less. And now we can lean it, so let's reduce some of the power. And I really like this here. Oh, we are actually might be already leaned for power, because I was very active at leaning it. So actually, yeah, even without this one we are pretty much plus 50, I think. Let me just see. Let's not lose the engine. Yeah, this is 0. Yeah, so we are pretty much spot on with plus 50. On the Discord there is currently a discussion going on if you should be flying rich of peak or lean of peak, but this is something that I have googled like 100 times on like real pilot forums, and they still don't agree pretty much which one is better for the engine. So I think most flight simmers are recommending this rich of peak rather than lean of peak, if you don't need a lot of range. Okay, and now we can actually go down, because I said that I want to show you some hand flying, and there are some nice mountains below us. You can see them here, so I will want to check them out. And the oxygen should turn off by itself. As discussed before, this is the manual mode, so it just assumes that you are inhaling and will always work, and this is the default mode, only above 10,000. Okay, so I think it's a good moment to now show you the changelog. So the special thing about Flysimware is that they really like updates, which is great if you have spent money on this one and it was not perfect in the beginning. So starting from last week, they have already published 5, and there is a lot of stuff. So I have marked the most important stuff yellow, and so they have fixed the indications here of the temperatures. The left magneto was turning off the engine, which is fixed, and I've already discussed. The fuel track is now working better, and you have seen it, very nice feature. Flight dynamics were updated, so this was the first update that got rid of this twitchiness. Oil temperature behavior, before it was always in the yellow pretty much in all phases of flight, and now if you are cruising you can even turn it down and it should still more or less stay in the green. Speed brakes were not opening in the flight. This was very nice speed brakes here. We can maybe even use them now. Let me see. Yeah, we can. So nice animation, nice sound, and very effective. Can recommend, use them. Maybe not on short final, because then you can lose control over the plane. Cylinder head temperature was a problem. And also night flying was a problem, because many of those lights and displays were just too bright. Actually, I might have broken the plane with my leaning. Yeah, it's the first time I'm seeing this happen. Okay. So this is I was flying like 3 flights after the last patch, and this has never happened. For some reason I broke the cylinder head temperature indicators that are here. You can still see the engine is on. I'm starting doubting. You can still see where the top of them is, but you cannot see the green bands here. Okay, never seen it happen to anyone, so yeah, I invented a new bug apparently. Okay. Takeoff behavior is what I said before. It was really tricky, especially if there was crosswind, and now it's not even it's not only stable on the runway, which is pretty nice and not that typical even for high quality planes, but it's also a pretty smooth rotation. Okay. I will just take over. We can get rid of the pitot heat, I think. Yep. And we can do some flying around here. Now there is some water, it's there. Okay, so those bumps are obviously this standard MSFS, standard MSFS mountain turbulence, especially when it's a hotter day. It's super powerful. Seems to be a little bit too powerful, and I'm not sure if this is related to the plane at all. I was actually flying here at yesterday at very similar hours, and it was not so aggressive. So I think this might kind of mess up our testing here when it comes to the hand flying feeling. Yeah. At least it's not as bad as in the Starship from Black Square, because there those like mountain turbulence effects can flip pretty much your plane if you're flying with realistic turbulence. So here I still have it under control, but I think it's a little bit too much. So in general, when MSFS came out, this was the first plane that had this like turbulence effect that were influenced by the terrain under you. So the legacy sims didn't do it, and it was a very big thing. But nowadays I actually think, oh, now I have the bars back, no idea how. So what did I want to say? Oh, that now this effect of the sudden turbulence doesn't feel as refined as the rest of the flight model of those higher quality planes. So it starts feeling a little bit digital, out of place, with the rest of the feeling being so refined. And I'm pretty much seeing it in all of the planes, especially if it's afternoon, after a hotter day, there was sun, it tends to be totally crazy and very hard to control. I just hope that maybe after this one mountain before us, it will settle down, and then we will be able to do some flying with this. Let me go to 2600 with a little bit more power from this propeller, and this should be fine. And now it was me. I just wanted to look to the side and actually use head tracking for this. Yeah, the views are really nice. But I wish it would let us concentrate on our job. There are some nice wind sounds, but you probably cannot hear them because of the pretty loud engine. There is this noise cancellation feature in the menu if you would like to use it, but I really wanted to show you the sounds of the plane. I can actually reduce the volume a little bit because I suspect it might be pretty loud. And they have also changed how the trim works, and now it's pretty easy to trim for level flight, which I think is very important to many people, and also pretty much an indicator of a flight model that really works. Obviously with this turbulence here above the mountains, it's kind of more complicated, but it really works. Let me just go down. I was also flying the FS Reborn the other day, and actually when I was flying it, it was still a little bit bugged, but I think the developer has also released like 5 patches already. I'm not sure because I was only looking at the numbers of the versions. And I don't know, it felt a little bit buggy, but for sure like it's a great achievement, and I think after some patches it will be one of the best planes out there. I'm not a very big fan of the interior, this like glamour, glossy type of stuff. I do prefer some more wood, I guess, but yeah, pretty nice. I was actually flying the Honda Jet after it to have something to compare, because they are very similar planes. I think like obviously the failures and the maintenance is amazing, so this is a clear plus point, but like taking them away, I do feel the Honda Jet still feels a little bit better. Oops. too fast head movements. I need to get used to this head tracking again. I mean, my neck needs to get used to it. But I really will be only using like very small movements. Yeah, you can have a lot of fun with it. And even if you want to use it as a commuter plane, I guess, for A to B flying, can be pretty efficient. I think the range is around 1000 nautical miles, and the speed in cruise, in high power cruise, can be very high. It's like, as I said in the prior video, depending on the version, it's from 220 to 260 or 70, I think. It's a very fast commuter, I guess. Yeah, I never know with MSFS. I tend to fly some routes that I really like, and on some days they just look amazing, and on other days, if it's only like a very small change in lighting, they suddenly don't look good at all. So this now, from this perspective, I would say this looks really good. But if we were higher up, even a little bit higher, this wasn't looking good at all. So this is why it's sometimes so difficult to do those videos, that there can be like a very, very slight difference in a place that you have seen and it was beautiful, and then when you record and go there, it looks really bad. Okay, but I think you agree that the terrain here is pretty interesting. Maybe something to take a helicopter to. Now this BO-105, I think, releases, so this is maybe something that I would be also interested in. Yeah, and I think it's visible. If there is not this sharp turbulence from the mountains, this is a very smooth flyer. So from a plane that I liked because of a lot of reasons, but the flight model was not one of them, at first moved with the first patches to something that is kind of average when it comes to the flight model, so I liked it because of the other stuff. And now it's actually one of my favorite planes to hand fly. So, and it's just, what is it, like 7 days? Yeah, pretty amazing. But I already see that when I will want to continue using this head tracking, I will need to adjust it a little bit so the movement will be smoother. Okay, let's catch this GPS track. Oh, is it like a failure? Is it a bug? Maybe. Okay, let me turn off this and we will just... Oh, now it works. Oh, the developer of the FS Reborn was writing that there is a new bug in SU5 that randomly turns off different functions of the avionics. But I have never seen it before flying the FS Reborn, so I was assuming he's just like, yeah, sure, fix your plane. Because I have never seen it, but this looks exactly like the thing I have seen in the FS Reborn, that like one of the data elements on the glass cockpit stopped working. So maybe he was not lying at all. Okay. Let me just see if we have any failure here. No, nothing. And last time I told you that those are breakers, which they are not. Those are actually fuses. So if they break, they will not just reset, but you can click on them in the sim to reset them. And they also light up nicely once reset. Okay. Let's go back on track here. So let's center the heading back with this one. Let's just stabilize the plane, because I will need to set up some stuff. Heading. Nice. And let's arm. Do we have capture? No. So let me arm nav capture. Nice. Now we get a lot of turbulence. Come on, MSFS. Okay. Oh, because... Okay. Clicked on a lot of stuff, but not on the autopilot. So now we need to move back to the heading. This is what happens if you talk too much and are not flying the plane enough. Okay, so heading, arming GPS, and for now we stay where we are. I think the approach altitude, oh, this turbulence is killing me. We'll be joining here at 3,700, so let me just get this in. Okay, and I want VS with the nose up at 1000. It's so convenient. I never even heard about those avionics, to be honest, despite like flight simming for many years. But this is just so good. I mean, as I said, in the real world, when you have turbulence and it's shaking, it's probably not very convenient to have to click on the screen. But in the sim, instead of turning the knobs, just like clicking in all of the data, just great. Okay, and let me set up the approach. So not here, here, approach, and I want, I didn't check the weather actually, so I'll just do it in a second, but for now, I'll just go here. And we can check the weather. Oh, it's actually the other one, is it? I need to take a look. No, I think it's still the one. Yes, 16, and the wind is 170. So nice. Pretty much a direct headwind here. Very nice. We can do some outside views, although I'm not sure if the light is very good for it. Okay. Yeah, we can see some nice terrain. Once again, still no custom aircraft registration possible, so sadly we are flying in Australia with an American registration, but I hope this will change with time. Actually the view is not that bad with this one. I have reflections to max, which really makes many of the planes look better, but in some situations a little bit bugged, but only in some of them. So I still think it's a good trade-off. Maybe it's also partially because of frame generation that I'm using. Sometimes it's like adding a lot of noise to the reflections because it maybe doesn't recognize them correctly. I like yellow. Like in the past I didn't like it at all, but now, I mean, everyone changes. Okay, and we are pretty much joining the waypoint here. Yep. So we are not faster than 230, and we are at the right altitude, so I can already arm the approach, and we should be golden. Let's already prepare the pump and go to landing lights. And for the descent, they are recommending to close the ram air. That's saying this will not be a hard descent, and for long approaches they are keeping it on. So I was watching this video of Velin, so once again the owner of the Starhawk, and for a long approach to Oshkosh he was keeping it open. So I guess the logic is very similar to cowl flaps in other planes. So one thing that I forgot to do, because once again too much talking, is tuning in the minimums. So luckily here it's very quick, you don't need to turn any knobs. And let's also change the minimum altitude to it. You can center the heading knob. Some barrows here. Oh, I really appreciated that I don't have to turn any knobs, seriously. Something that I really don't like in flight sim. 1025, and we are at 1023, so once again, no turning knobs, just clicking. You can take a look. Okay, nice, nice, nice. Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, the change in the flight model. I was thinking it will be like a kind of okayish, kind of twitchy plane forever, but now, for me, it's really among the best. And it seems to match the description in the A2A video, where they have described its flight characteristics. Okay, let me see if everything is... Oh, and we lost the EGT reading again. I'm wondering what is going on, because as I said, I was doing, I think, 2 or 3 flights with this version of the patch, and it was working without a problem, so somehow I found a way to mess it up for our flight here, so yeah, my luck. We can turn on the brakes to get rid of a little bit speed. It's kind of slippery in the approach, just not too much. Okay, we can go to full mixture and full propellers. Let's close. Okay, and we are at flaps 10. Or maybe even 15. We might have clicked too much. Let me know. Reduce the speed. Still following the glide path that is kind of not descending on this part because of the cliff here, which is understandable. Okay, and now I can just reduce it. When it comes to the flaps on approach, I'm actually following this one, that it should be full flaps at touchdown at 80 knots. So we will just like extend them until we will be at full. See, I'm too fast again. There is actually some photogrammetry here. The light is not the best. Maybe when we will be taking a look from the outside it will be better. Let me just make sure that we have everything here. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Can open this one because we are kind of near. We are already at a lot of flaps, so it wants us to drop the gear, so we can do it in a second. You got distracted there. Okay, now it should be fine. Too white to red. Missed the moment when it came close to 100 knots. And you shouldn't go below, because 100 knots is the speed that you have to cross the threshold at. You can do an outside view. So what is left for the plane is also like a longer session with the pilot of the Starhawk. So Momo, so the developer of this one, is planning it for the next days, and then they will fine-tune all of the small details. There is also one bug that some people experience if they are flying very long routes, so more than 2 hours. Too much talking. More than 2 hours. And then they have a bug where the engine is quitting. So this is like the priority item now for the plane. I'm not really using it for such long tours, so all of mine were not longer than 90 minutes, I guess, so I have never experienced it, but obviously it's a paid product, it needs to be fixed. So this is pretty much the only very major item left, I think. The landing gear I will drop after this hill here. So I'm afraid it will introduce too much drag and then suddenly we might crash into the hill. Especially since we have this turbulence here. We are just a tiny bit below the glide path. And I think at this stage I can pretty much take over. This was a lot of turbulence from the hill. I was not anticipating this. I mean, I was to an extent, but not so much. And now it's really challenging. Despite the wind being like directly from the front. This is MSFS realistic turbulence. Sometimes it's really messing up the flight. Yeah, I really wish there was a setting between medium and realistic, because with realistic it sometimes tries to kill you, especially with like afternoon hot days, but with medium it feels totally dead pretty much in the air. So maybe they will come up with something. Okay, we can get rid of this one, and here we can just leave. Is it the correct place? Yeah. And I can unseal it, so you can enjoy those nice propeller sounds. Let me just check if it's not too loud. It's not. And we have this museum here in Shellharbour. Looks pretty nice. Okay, parking brake, leaning for ground operations. What else? The pump is already off, we don't need the landing lights. Air conditioning can stay on, we don't need the cameras, and we are unsealed, so this is fine. Where do I want to park? Maybe let's go left. So so we can enjoy some more of this nice airport. And this is pretty much like a perfect flight for this plane. So from Bathurst to Shellharbour. So two beautiful, very nice airports. And like the route is not too long. You can just do it in like 40 minutes. Very enjoyable. And there is some nice terrain along the way. Sadly, we didn't get much cloud cover this time. Last time there were some like beautiful clouds everywhere. Here just like close to the landing. Is it this place? Yeah, we can go here. So some nice operation of the landing gear. You can feel it flexing. And we can just park here. Like this. So we don't want the avionics, we don't need the air conditioning. This stays on for a second. And this has this interesting way of turning it off, that you are just turning the key to off first. Let me just go to idle. Okay, oops, don't go back to start. This was too far. To off. Come on. Okay, now it's off. And now the mixture. We can also close the rammer, the propellers. We don't need the lights anymore. Everything else is staying on as far as I can see. So in general, a pretty simple plane to fly and a lot of fun. Okay, so the seal is off, so we can just unlatch it. Let's go out. And I'm wondering, forget about, okay, let's go back. Flaps up. So now as the canopy is open, you can hear the full flap sounds, which are also pretty nice. And this is the also pretty unique. Okay. And battery. And let me see if it will work now nicely. So this works. Yeah, this works. So I find a way to avoid this bug that seems to appear only for me. Just getting in and getting out with Shift-C instead of using the other functionality. It's pretty much still hot, so let's not use it. We can use this one. You have this new 2024 effect, very dramatic in the wind, and you can also see where the wind is blowing from. And we can take a look at the maintenance. So we have burned some additional fuel. There is some wear to the engine, but we didn't really mess it up. And we have accumulated some additional dirt, I guess. We can take a look if there is any indicator of initial dirt somewhere, but not yet. We need more, I guess. Okay, and this was the Lancair legacy from Flysimware. A great improvement, and it's only 7 days since the beta started, so I'm really positive that the last critical item will be solved quickly, and then maybe, as it was so fast to make it really good, maybe we will see additional features. I mean, the developer has time now. Okay, so maybe we will see more and more. I will maybe try to work on full state saving for the switches. I mean, work on, like, in trying to convince the developer, because this is something that I really like in planes. But apparently it's not so easy to introduce. Actually, Black Square said the same, that they don't really know how to do it with the current possibilities of the sim, which is interesting, because like Just Flight has done it. And I think Milvis in the Cessna 310 has also done it without any external module like the one in A2A. So it should be possible, but apparently it's like secret knowledge that don't even all high fidelity plane developers know. So we will see. Maybe this will be introduced. Yeah, very nice looking plane. Okay. And thank you very much for watching, and see you in future GA flying videos. Bye bye.